Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Relationship Hot Topics. I'm your host, Hank Davis, and joining me, as always, she's the lovely, she's the talented Rebecca Ryder. How the hell are you, Rebecca?
I'm great, thank you.
Awesome. Folks, we're here every other Wednesday on Relationship Hot Topics. That's TPEnetwork.com. Our topic this time, Rebecca, money, 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 money.
I was just thinking that.
Money.
Money, 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 money.
No, it was better when I was singing it. No, I'm just kidding. Kidding.
I didn't realize you were singing. I thought,
Ooh.
I thought you were just saying it.
Oh. Harsh words, my friend. Harsh words. All right, let's get into
You're
the
really
show.
you're a good singer.
No, let me just give you guys some quick, just a 30-second backstory. I had this dream to be a big-time singer, and when I just started bombing out, I realized I could still make money off my dream. So now I just have people pay me to shut up. That's it. Success has gone to my head. All right, let's get into this, shall we?
Yes.
Why is money the single biggest problem couples face? You want me to take the lead?
Well, go ahead. I mean, I really had to think about this because
Really?
I don't
This
live
is
with
a no-
anyone,
this is a
and when I was
no-brainer.
married, he was gone most of the time, and
That should be a good thing.
No,
Most women would be happy if I'm gone all the time. Uh, but
but
to me, I think, especially if you make a decent income and you're used to being by yourself, when you get with somebody and your money doesn't go just for you anymore and you have to share, I think that is where the problem lies. Everything's fine and dandy when there's a surplus of money and everybody gets what everybody wants. But when it comes down to either this for her or or that for him, oh, you couldn't get the latest edition of Madden because your girlfriend needed something. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I
but
think
then some people turn like 21 and become an adult and don't need
hey,
Madden.
that is like three. Just I'd do my George Bush and be like, unwarranted attacks on America. These unwarranted attacks. That's pretty harsh. But yeah,
Oh,
I think it is.
Oh, I'm
I
sorry,
do.
I hurt your feelings.
I don't have any. I think it has to do with, for lack of a better word, our inherent selfish nature. We want what we've earned to go towards what we want it to go towards. Not this little dude needs shoes. Yeah, and stuff like that. That's just my opinion. And when you have two people and this limited resource, I think that's where the powder keg begins. I think that just becomes, I think we should pay the bills up front. Well, we need to get this done and that done and this repaired first, and then pay what we can and then catch up next month. You know what I mean? I think that just the powder keg begins.
Right, well, that's what grown-ups do, though. They prioritize their responsibilities and their expenses. So you'll get there someday.
Oh, my
I'm just kidding.
goodness.
You are
Wow.
you are great with money. Look at you. You have this studio. Look at
Yeah.
all this things that you
Luxurious studio.
your equipment.
Gotta be bigger than a phone
You
booth.
invest in your business. That's very smart. But anyways, I think that's like one
Bulletproof
aspect.
jackets.
I think another aspect is just like, not just from like a single person's standpoint and then they get into a relationship. I think just people in general do not always have the same ideas about money. I think that
Yep.
they don't spend it the same. They
Yep.
don't think of it. They don't think of it as. I don't think that they don't think of it as. I mean, like as like the same view. I think some, one person in the relationship, like from your end, like you said, you would rather spend it on yourself, or you have to decide if you want to spend it on yourself, whether you want to share. We learned to do that when we were little, but I think
Sure
one
didn't.
person in the relationship always wants to spend it more irresponsibly than like the
Yep.
other person does. I mean, not
Yes.
always, but I think that's where a problem comes into it.
Because think of this. There are people out there with the mentality of, hey, we're not going to be here forever. I should enjoy some stuff. And then there's other people that I personally know that are like, oh my gosh, oh, let me hoard every last dime. Uh, put it in a casket with me if something should befall me. You know,
Right.
you're just like, you're really going to take this with you? You really are. Okay, wow.
You're serious. Okay.
Yeah, supernatural
He even
pockets.
has a side casket pocket
Ex-
for.
My money's going in there. And I'm like, because sometimes I'm thinking like, and I don't want to, man, I won't put anybody's name out there. I'll just say there's somebody I know that retired that was like, just like, I'm like, what are you still waiting for? When are you going to dip into your stuff? And I mean, this is what it is. You're not, you're not getting any younger at all. When are you going to dip into your stuff and do something?
Are they really retired though, or are they retired from like a job, but they still work and do side jobs or do anything like that?
No,
Or they like
no.
have no income coming
They're,
in now?
they're in their 80s.
Mm,
So I'm just curious, like,
got it.
when are you going to enjoy something?
Or do you think that they are actually just, hey, I'm going to
Content.
leave this for someone?
Maybe that's it, but I sure as hell won't. I mean, I would love to leave some behind for somebody that don't want to work for it. Kidding. But, it's just like, there's that different mentality.
Yeah, because there's somebody in there in the relationship too that could be like, you know what, we should put away. You're supposed to actually everybody do this if you can. If you can't, put something away, $5 a week, whatever. But someone in the relationship may be like, well, we should put 20% of this, into our savings for a rainy day, whatever. And the other person's like, no.
Fuck that, they're having a special at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Right.
I'll be gone.
It's game night.
Protect
When
the game,
isn't it game night? I
dude.
just want to know that question.
That's the wonder. That's the beauty about sports. It's always.
It's like
game
every night, every day, all the time. But anyway, you already have a chainsaw. Do you really need another one? It's like make do or do without. But
Yeah, does it change though if money's coming in a little more steadily? So instead of having just what you need, if you had twice what you need, do you relax your standards a little bit and say, you know what, play around a little bit, fella.
oh, of course. I mean, you work hard. You should
Get
totally,
that second chainsaw.
yeah. Sell the other one on eBay or whatever. Give it to your brother-in-law. Give it to somebody. Who knows? But donate it to a charity, a fund, whatever. They go build houses and stuff. They might need a chainsaw. So. Anyway, hey, I give stuff to the Underground Railroad all the time. They'll take.
Okay, I just want to make sure I just want to be clear on one thing. You realize that you don't really go cut your own wood down to make your house, right? You don't really have to like do a log cabin nowadays, right?
I don't.
You got to go to
But
Home
somebody
Depot.
has to do it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let's move forward.
Well, what about for the fireplace? You have to cut that shit up.
Okay,
You can't just stick a whole tree in a fireplace. Okay.
you might try. All right. Does it matter which person in a relationship makes more money? To me, it does not. People will say I'm full of shit. I am not full of shit. I am dead serious. It doesn't bother me at all. That whole you're the guy, you should be pulling in them. No, I want to be with somebody that's smart, that's knocking down big money. You know what I mean? I want to carry my weight, but I don't want to be like,
Oh, I have to.
make more. I'll work myself into the death, and just so I make more than she does. Look at my income tax, honey. I outdid you. Dunk.
Yeah. Okay, but sign this first. Down here and leave it all to. Yes, thank you. Yep, that's me.
Thank you. Beneficiary. Okay. Yep. No waiting period, please. Sign there.
Yeah, I personally do not think that it matters, like, for myself. But there
That
are
wouldn't bother you
so
at all
many that I made more.
if you made, 200,000 and your husband made 80. Wouldn't
No,
bother you?
because we would have everything that we would need, and
Exactly.
anyone that I would be with would be
Killing it.
doing other things. It wouldn't just be about the money. Like it's because a lot of times if you make that type of money, you might be working 80 hours
Yeah, you're gone.
a week. That's absolutely ridiculous. I would much rather make 100,000 and work 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
But, and so while you are gone and you are working, I mean, whether it's woman, man, whatever, whoever is not working as much is going to be probably putting in more hours at home than you are. So technically, I mean, they may not be getting paid financially,
Okay.
but like they're contributing. Or I guess, well, they might not
Mr.
be
Mom.
contributing as, right.
But that money's
Same
gonna
with
need to
these
go out.
women that are at home that have maybe part-time jobs or whatever, and they're working constantly, cleaning and having dinner and grocery shopping and laundry and dishes and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
I don't know who the
They're
hell said
contributing.
that a housewife isn't a job, because I remember when I was a little kid, my mom had to stay home with us. Holy shit. I couldn't do all that shit.
Mm-mm.
There's no motivation. There's no such motivation within me that would be like, oh, okay, let's do it all again today. All this cleaning and all this, fuck that.
You guys had like a football
Yeah, we had a football team. Yeah,
like,
we did. We had the entire offense.
and that's a lot of people
The entire offense.
to take care of. Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, from early morning to evening, she's just going. And then you got the cooking, the meal part for that big of a group of people, that would drive me and fucking nuts. So,
yeah, I
see
can
the
barely do it
value.
for myself.
I see the value of having somebody at home. Let's move on, though.
Yeah. So, like I said, I think that they're contributing the same amount. Like, it might not be monetarily, but
Do you think that the person who makes less might feel like aren't as, aren't contributing as much, even though we kind of already discussed this? Do you think that they just look at the financial portion of it? Is it up to you to say, hey, look at what you're doing, look at how much you're impacting this household?
I think if they're not doing shit and they're sitting on their ass and doing absolutely nothing, and they are only contributing like a day or two of financial whatever while somebody else is like killing themselves trying to make rent, then I mean, I think they should feel like crap. But a lot of those people that do that don't give a shit. They're like, yeah, I'm not working right now. I'm retired 6 months out of the year, and I'm going to be laid off or whatever. But, I mean, I think that those type of people aren't going to care. But I think that the ones that, maybe they're just sort of down on their luck, work hours and everything got cut back. Working men usually, I'm going to say, would feel like less of, they'd feel like, what did you say?
Inadequate?
Yeah, like they're not contributing as much because they've been used to doing that. That's what I've heard. Men are sort of raised since they're little is to be a provider.
And I think that when men are not financially secure, I think it does impact every other aspect of their life.
It does, because it weighs on them because, it's on your mind.
Yeah.
It's on your mind
like,
every
shit,
day.
Now what? Now what am I going to do? Now what am I going to do? Until you go through that situation where you're like, what's going to happen tomorrow?
Yeah.
That is some scary shit.
When you're not sure where you're next.
And then at that point, you can't, most of us don't feel like, wow, I feel like at my best today because I suck. You know what I mean? We don't feel that great about that.
Right, but I think a lot of people, don't actually do enough to get out of the situation that they're in. And then you have people that, they've got a game plan. They have goals each week that they want to try to do to, improve their situation.
Yeah.
And that's contributing.
Yeah, that is too.
Yeah, it is. Because they're not just sitting around doing absolutely nothing every single day,
and
complaining, drinking beer they can't afford,
It depends on how you look at it, too. If you're looking at the short game or if you're looking at the long game, you
Right.
know. And a lot of people, I hate to say it, kind of go through life looking at the short game,
Right.
today,
I
next
agree.
week, next month. And then there's some people that look at the long game where they're like, I'm gonna I'm gonna kick some ass, and it's gonna be around April, May, but here's my steps and here are my plans to get there. And I unfortunately, our society has people chasing that money so hard that most people just exchange hours for dollars.
Right.
And instead of trying to figure out passive income strategies and stuff like that. So I don't know.
I mean, you definitely have to be futuristic and have a game plan.
Yeah,
But
you have to.
yeah, so those people shouldn't feel like they're not contributing. But those people that are not contributing because they're not, they don't want to,
Yeah, and they're like, I don't know.
and they're just
What are your
sucking up all the
goals?
resources, eating the food all day long while you're at work, and then there's no dinner when you get home, and there's nothing in the dog bowl, even though the bag's right there.
This
The
is what
garbage hasn't been taken out. The
this is what
dishes
I
haven't
ask
been done.
people. Often I'll say like, what's your dream job or what are your goals? And if somebody says they don't have any, or I don't know, I never really thought about it, I'm like, oh shit.
But it's cool that you got them thinking. So,
Yeah, but it's kind of scary if you don't have any like dreams. I thought everybody dreamed,
mm-hmm.
but it's just all how you perceive money.
Right.
All right. Once the money troubles start, is there any chance to save the relationship? So if you're just duking it out, I'm talking day to day. If you're duking it out with your partner over how are we going to do this? And oh my gosh, I can't believe you spent on this when we needed to get this. Are we just looking at the end of the relationship pretty much? Or is there a way to get back?
Well, you said once the money, troubles start. In the
Yeah.
beginning, it's not as hard. But the longer and longer and longer that it gets dragged out, and the more poor choices that, one of them makes when it's, financially not viable, I think one of them's going to get sick. Well, probably the person that's making the money that the other one is spending ignorantly, they are going to get mad. I don't think it's the lack really of money that messes people up. I think people mess people up. I think it's how, like you said, if a man is, like you said, every aspect, you know, I yeah, I'm going to say a man, because that's where I generally see it. I don't generally see my girlfriends getting super upset because they're not bringing in 100,000 a year, because they are doing so many other things and picking kids up and doing all that stuff. But so I'm going to say like a man. It does affect, if men get extremely stressed out, sometimes they can't get an erection. So, do you see where I'm going
Yeah.
with this now? Finally.
Hell yeah.
So that's going to be another dissatisfaction in the house. So, or they may take any comment that you make, not meaning to hurt your feelings or anything about, oh man, this dishwasher never works. What, do you think I can do everything? You think that I'm a failure in life? And then there goes an argument
Yeah.
from this guy's point of view, like, oh, I know what that meant. I meant that the dishwasher didn't
was a
work.
shot
Oh no,
over the
you
bow.
didn't. You know what? You're talking about that guy down the hall that fixes everything and whatever, and he makes 100,000 a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that
Everything gets hypersensitive.
So I think the longer that happens,
I can definitely see that. Because once that you start going down that rabbit hole, it is very hard to come back, I think.
yeah, I think attitude has everything to do with it.
Here's a really good one. Now, I've had this trouble when I was younger, not so much when I was older, but when I was younger and living with women or dating women or whatever. How can couples contribute to the relationship, but yet still feel like they have money for themselves? That's the toughie right there. Because I'm using this in the perspective of the money's not in abundance. You know what I mean?
So like, you're living together, or you're just dating?
You're together. You're living together. You're in the same house. You're getting bills paid and stuff. But how do you feel like, hey, I'm still working for more than just paying bills and stuff like that? Is there some balance agreements you can come to with your partner?
I mean, if you're smart, you've discussed all this stuff kind of
No,
beforehand. Like,
people
okay,
never
let's
do. You
just
give
think
people too
about
much
this.
credit.
I said if. But, I mean, if you move in with somebody, you're going to know whether or not you can afford rent, correct? I mean, you sign a lease for like a year. You should know between the two of you whether or not you're going to be able to pay for rent.
Do you have any idea what the default rates are even in Michigan?
Mm-mm.
They're pretty. It would blow your mind. So I will go out on a limb and say that a lot of couples are not being honest on what they can afford.
Yeah, I think you should be. I mean, if you're going to move in with someone, you should be smart about being able to afford food and like electricity
But
and
that's
heat.
just it. A lot of people don't even include food when they're budgeting. When they are young and they're like, rent's this much, electricity should be this much, and the cable, and they have all these other wants and desires. They don't even think about the basic silly stuff.
Yeah. I mean, so your question is like, how can couples contribute to the relationship but still feel like they have money for themselves? I think that, get the basic needs out of the way. Don't go spend, rent's due in like, 5 days. Well, we have like 300 right now.
Let's play the lottery.
I know we're going to make another 100, whatever. So we're going to make rent. Don't go take that money and say, oh, well, she's working a double. So I'm going to go meet such and such at Wild Wings.
Buffalo,
or
protect
be
the
like,
game.
Yeah, protect the game. Oh my gosh.
They're gonna be a sponsor pretty soon, I bet.
Or whatever. Your man's working, 5 doubles, triples this week.
Ladies' night.
Yeah.
And the girls go to ladies' night.
Right. So, I mean, be sensible about that. Take care of the needs, and whoever, So, like, say, okay, here's an analogy. A guy makes $500 a week. A girl makes, $500 a week. You guys equally split whatever you do, however you figure out your finances, whatever money's left over. Put it in your savings, don't put it in your savings, but you'll have some money to spend for yourself. Now, if one of them is making like $200 a week and the other one's making $500 a week and they both contribute $200 towards the bill, that other person doesn't have any money left over. But I think that it would be fair to give each one of them something to do so that they can go, definitely date yourselves. Don't put your date money towards your football game, beer drinking parties, the Xbox all-nighters. Okay.
Yes.
You best, take care of your house. What is that
this?
expression?
This is what I love telling my girlfriend when she's like, "Hey, where's the rent money?" I'm like, "In Big Mike's belly. He just drank it." That's usually what I say.
Yeah, it's probably true. Such a brat, but oh my gosh,
That guy can drink, man. It's not my fault.
It's not my fault.
One thirsty son of a gun.
I spent $100 on liquor and alcohol. Oh my gosh, and invited everyone over.
And wings.
It's not my bad.
And wings. This sounds really
And buzzed them in. Was not my fault.
Now this really sounds like it really happens.
I know.
That sounds really personal.
So, but yeah,
Okay. It's gotta,
give
like
each
you're
other
saying,
something.
it's kind of got to be scaled to what people are making. So if I'm not making what you're making, then it's kind of got to be scaled fair.
Yeah, you can't be stingy. I
Yeah.
mean, definitely have a date night and then, have a little bit extra so that you can go do something or spend it on whatever you want. And then she can go do something and spend it on whatever you want. If you want to put it in your savings, that's your prerogative. But everybody has to have an outlet and you can't just only have each other.
No. Ugh. What are some things that couples should keep in mind if they are having financial problems? What are some, because to me, I think they have to think about, how do I feel about the situation? Oh, pretty bad. Well, she or he must be feeling bad as well. That's what I think. You kind of have to keep that perspective of it's not just about me. It's about both of us and stuff. That's what I think people need to keep in mind when they're having those kind of problems. It's not all about me.
Right. And they need to have a perspective. Look at the big picture. Like, there's people out there that one person is not working at all, and all they are doing is doing online classes, whatever it is. They're not making any income, but what they're doing is future minded.
Yeah.
Because we're going to get there, and this is how we're going to get there. It might take a couple years, but I think
could
that,
pan out better.
yeah. And
I like that.
it's true. People need to really think about like the big picture. If you don't, like you said, you've met people that have no idea what they're going to do.
Zero.
Yeah.
Zero plans. Zero. You know, like, especially like I have some friends that have physical jobs, and it's like, you can't do that forever.
Right.
Then what? Then what? Where are you going? What's the end game? You know, you know, are you doing anything on the back end to try to get to a desk job or anything like that? And man, just a lot of people don't look at it like that.
It's almost like, oh, there's always tomorrow. There's always tomorrow.
Or they play the lottery tickets.
Yeah, I'm going to win on this.
I think we've all
Ed
played a
McMahon's
little
going to knock
bit,
any minute.
But then I think when I got laser focused is when I just stopped playing.
Mm-hmm.
I just, at one point, I just said, you know what? Guess how many times I've won anything really huge? Never. You know, so I might as well just accept that that's not the route to go. If I have very limited money, why on earth would it go that way? Cut that out of your life. Boom. I'm kind of turning into Dave Ramsey for a second here.
Whom I respect immensely. He's amazing.
He's awesome.
He is. He's the one that says, make do or do without.
Are people who have trouble managing money failures in other areas of their life? I love this question because I think it shows a pattern. What about you?
I think so too, because I think that, you know, they're not equipped, or, you know, they haven't been taught like certain values, I think, that are significant. I don't really know if I know how to explain this. But like if you're not careful with like your money, and you're not, you know, planning towards, I mean, you have to be realistic, and a lot of people are not. You're not going to be here forever.
No.
You are not. I mean, anything can happen. We've seen it on the nightly news. Somebody could lose their legs in like 2 minutes. How are you going to walk to an interview? And, you know, how are you going to do all this stuff?
That'd
and
be
no
hard.
money. Yeah. That would be amazing.
Lieutenant Daniels, what happened to
I mean,
my
you
legs?
can get the, you know, whatever legs and stuff, but you know my point. You can't do things. You're not always going to be able to do everything that you can do right now. God, it was hard to get out. Like, jeez.
I don't know why you had to use a legs reference, but that was.
I don't know. I'm just saying
it works.
that, like,
it works, though.
like my grandpa had, you know, it really affected their family.
Let's not get
Fireworks
serious
back
here.
in the days,
Oh,
people
shit.
were like more like bombs. So one didn't go off, and he went to go pick it up. And what do you think happened?
Damn.
So
Just
here's
get real
a
up in
working
here.
man who can no longer work for his family.
Oh.
They ended up moving into a house literally that had dirt floors. They grew up very poor.
That's what that
Extremely
means?
poor.
Dirt poor?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what that means?
I think so.
Oh, shit.
Wow, we just learned something.
You just learned me something.
Wow. That's awesome. Yeah, so, I mean, it's not awesome. I'm sorry
I'm trying to
for
get
those
out of the
you.
podcasting ghetto.
Oh,
I love it.
I'm in the ghetto.
I think,
Rebecca is hanging out in the ghetto.
oh, wow. Never say that again.
I'm
All right. I really think should send up warning flags if somebody has a real hard time, because I have, man, and they listen to the show too. So, they know who they are. I have friends that make a considerable amount of money who just, I mean, you wouldn't be able to tell them from me when we go hang out, and they probably make, probably 3 times what I make.
Meaning what?
Meaning that they just are.
What do you mean not tell them from you? What does that mean?
Meaning that you would be like, well, okay, which one of you makes the, you know, X amount of dollars, the bigger amount of money? They'd be like, which one of you? You know, because they just mismanage so poorly.
Oh my god! So you're like
just in debt.
insinuating that you look like crap or something, and they?
No, I'm just.
What do you?
Oh my gosh, you're so slow.
Ah.
I'm just saying that you wouldn't be able to tell which one is making
Who makes
the
more
bigger
money?
amount of money, because you would assume that you'd be able to see something different.
Oh, like a bunch of like
A better
jewelry
car.
and a bunch of.
No, you just see like a better car, a better house, a better, wardrobe, a better, and there's like no difference, not really. And you're like, holy shit, this person's struggling, and they make 3 times what you make, and they're struggling. They're getting stuff repossessed and taken away. And
So, what other areas of life would you expect to see? Like, what would you expect to see? I guess in other areas
I think
of life.
I think if you are not making smart decisions in your finances, I don't think you would make smart decisions in your relationship.
Like, you'd make more selfish, like, spontaneous decisions.
Yeah, I think people
Like, wow, he looks good right now. Who's gonna know? I'll have him, and I want this right now. I'm gonna have it right now.
Yeah, some people are just very impulse type people, and then they're just like, if they're bad with money, they might be bad with fidelity. They might be bad with health decisions and stuff like that. I mean, I've just seen a lot.
Yeah, you're right, because like you could be on a date with someone and then not have a condom, and it's like however long you've been together, 6 months, whatever. And this person could have been with somebody else on the weekend you didn't know, and then you're just, oh, whatever, I'm spontaneous, and then there you go.
I'm spontaneous.
You get $100, you could probably pay a bill or put it in the bank, and you're like, oh, look at that new, I'm buying that right now.
Yep, I'm gonna go get it.
Yeah, I see that.
And you just kind of have to hit rock bottom to change.
Yep.
Why do some people get jealous of the power couples who are out there rolling in the dough? And I've seen this firsthand. People just hate. I mean, I've seen some outright hate for people with money. Oh, he's so rich. He must have screwed over millions of people doing that, and you're just like, shit, not every rich person is a dick,
Yeah, because they're not there. They don't have that. They don't have that star quality themselves. And what I mean by that is they don't have the mentality to go get those things themselves. They seem to be the ones that want things to just happen to them, fall out of the sky.
Yep.
They want to win the lotto. They want to get everything for nothing. They don't understand how hard it is and what you have to do, how hard you have to work, how focused and dedicated that you need to be to get to where they are. So they almost feel like they're just so lucky, like it just happened to them. Like they didn't go to acting school for 10 years or didn't invest all their time in reading about investments or things like that.
Yeah, because just listen to the type of people that want something for nothing.
You got Obama phone?
Yes, everybody in Cleveland, low minority, got Obama phone.
Those are the type of people that just expect to get shit for free.
Yeah.
Obama's going to give me a phone. Amazing. Amazing. Final thoughts on that note, Rebecca? Final thoughts?
No. I don't even know.
We're gonna end it there.
That's insane.
He gave me a phone. He gets my vote. That's some fucked up shit.
Oh my gosh.
That is some shit. So if you ever want to run for office, just remember, gifts go a long way.
Just put the word free in anything and still charge people.
Give
They
us
don't
a
care.
phone. What the fuck? What do you mean? Who am I voting for? This chick is tripping.
It's free for $30 a month. People fall for it.
Own to rent.
You listeners, you know it too.
Yeah, they're
I
smart.
have fallen myself many times for it's free. Unless you like it, then we're going to charge you every month.
Our listeners probably average 120K. Right. Over like 10 years. No, I'm just kidding. We got some smarties out there.
Yeah, we do.
We do. All right, folks, that's going to do it
They listen
for
to
this
us.
edition of Relationship Hot Topics. For Rebecca Ryder, I'm Hank Davis. Until next time, my friends, we're signing off.